Hello, friends. I welcome you all to this 30th session of Indian Evidence Act. And today we are going to discuss Section 65, 65A, and 65B of the Act. So, as brief overview, what we will read is Section 65. It is very important because it states in what circumstances secondary evidence can be given. As we have already seen under section 64, that contents of a document are to be proved first by primary evidence, and only if the certain circumstances which are mentioned under section 65, if they are satisfied, then only secondary evidence can be given. So, what are these circumstances? We will study that. Then, 65A and 65B deals with electronic documents as to how electronic documents are to be proved. Now, Section 65 states that cases in which secondary evidence relating to document may be given. Now, what are those cases? First, when the original is shown or appears to be in possession or power of person against whom the document is sought to be proved, of any person out of reach or not subject to the process of court, or any person legally bound to produce it, and when after the notice mentioned in section 66, such person does not produce it. So, first condition or first circumstances when secondary evidence can be given is when the original or the primary evidence is out of the possession or power of the party who wish to produce it. Now, there are many circumstances in which it can happen that the original is out of the possession or power of the uh, person who wants to produce the document. Few of them are that it is against it is with the person against whom it is sought to be produced, or it is with a person who is out of reach of the court, or not subject to the court, or not subject to the process of the court. Or it can be that a person who is legally bound to produce it, that is, even if he is subject to the process of the court and notice has been given to him to produce it, but he does not produce it. So, in such cases, secondary evidence can be given. Now, B, when the existence, condition, and contents of original have been proved to be admitted in writing by the person against whom it is to be proved or his representative in interest. So, second condition is when there is an admission, and admission should satisfy two conditions. One, it should be in writing. It should not be oral, but the admission should be in writing. And by whom? By that person against whom it is to be proved or his representative in interest. So, if there is an admission and that admission is in writing and by that person against whom it is to be proved, then in that case also secondary evidence can be given. When the original have been destroyed or lost, or when the party offering evidence of its content cannot for any other reason not arising from default or neglect produce it in a reasonable time. So when it is destroyed or lost, or it is such that it cannot be produced within reasonable time, then in that case also the secondary evidence can be given. When the original is of such a nature as not to be easily movable, if it is bulky, like if it is some engravings made on a wall, then it is certainly not easily movable. So in that case, the secondary evidence can be given. When the original is public document within the meaning of section 74. Now, in cases of public document, if it is called in court every now and then the public work may suffer, because the entries are to be made in it on day-to-day basis. So in those circumstances also secondary evidence can be given. When the original is a document of which certified copy is permitted by this act. So if the act says that in order to prove certain thing, that particular document or a certified copy of that document is can be given in the court, then in that case also the original or secondary evidence can be given. When the original consists of numerous accounts or other documents which cannot conveniently be examined in the court, and the fact to be proved is general result of the whole collection. Now, another circumstance is that when it runs into numerous accounts and that particular account or some excerpt of it is not in question, the what is want to be proved is the general result or outcome of it. So in that case also one can give the secondary evidence. Now in case of A, C and D, any secondary evidence of content of document is admissible. So in case where it is out of possession, in case where it is lost or destroyed, and in case where it is not easily movable, any type of the secondary evidence may be admissible. In case of E and F, a certified copy of document but no other kind of secondary evidence is admissible. So in case if it is a public document or a certified copy is permitted, then only certified copy is admissible. Now, in case of G, that is where it is runs into numerous accounts and it cannot be conveniently examined in the court, and what we want is the general result of the whole collection. So in such cases, general result of document by any person who has examined them and who is skilled in examination of such document. So in such case it can be given by any person who is skilled and who has examined it. For example, if it is accounts and CA has examined it, chartered accountant, then he can give the general result and that general result will be acceptable by the court. Now, in order to remember it, I have made an acronym. We will just see so that you can easily remember it in examination, and that is your, if we, as you can see here, nice lip arc. So it is, as you can see, lip and lip is making an arc, so it is nice lip arc, where N stands for if it is numerous document. As we have seen, if it is numerous document and general result is needed, in that case a person who is skilled in it and has examined it, he can give the report. Then L stands for if it is lost or destroyed. As we have seen, if it is lost or destroyed or out of the possession. I stands for immovable, if it is difficult to move, as we have seen in case of wall painting. Then P stands for public document, as we have seen in case of public documents, so that public work does not hamper. What we'll do is that we will ask that okay, a certified copy can be given. Then A stands for admitted, so if it has been admitted, and admission should be in writing and by the person against whom it is to be proved or by his representative in interest. R stands for out of reach, so if it is out of reach, then also the secondary evidence can be given, and C stands for where certified copy are permissible as such. So where certified copies are permissible, in that case also the secondary evidence can be given. So in these circumstances, secondary evidence can be given. So nice lip art. Now we will see what is the condition in case of the electronic documents. So what section 65A says is that electronic documents, contents of electronic documents can be proved, and the process to be followed in this case is that of that which is mentioned in section 65B. So simply it says that content of electronic document, how it can be proved by the process that is mentioned in section 65B. Now section 65 what it states is 65B what it states is that notwithstanding anything contained in this act, any information contained in electronic record which is printed on a paper, stored, recorded, copied in optical or magnetic media produced by computer shall be deemed to be also a document. So first of all it says that all the electronic record, which is a paper printout or something which is stored or something which is recorded or copied, all those are deemed to be document. Now it says that it shall be admissible in any proceeding without further proof or production of the original. So original would not be required as evidence or any contents of the original or any fact stated therein, of which direct evidence would be admissible. That is, it will be admissible though in spite that the original is not produced. And moreover, say in case of paper printout, what will be the original? All are original, all are secondary. So in such cases, it says that follow the conditions that are mentioned, these conditions which are mentioned under 65B, and that will be sufficient. Now, what are the conditions that are to be certified by it? So there are three main things that are to be certified, and for it I have made an acronym DTC, that is Delhi Transport Corporation, if you have heard. This is just to remember it. One thing it is to be mentioned is that the device, that the control of device was with whom, that who was the person who was in charge of this device. So the certificate has to be, or it has to be certified by the person who is in control of the device. Second is that he has to certify that there was no tampering, as we have seen many a time that electronic data can easily be tampered. So this person who was in control of the device will say that there was no tampering done with what is the printout or whatever is produced in the court. And C says that now if it is not tampered, yet there is one way in which a wrong printout can come. That is, if the device was not functioning properly. So the certificate under section 65B should also mention that the computer or the device was correctly functioning, so that whatever is printout is the real one. So these three things have to be certified in the certificate that is provided in the section 65B, that the device was under my control, there was no tampering done, and it was correctly functioning at the time. Now there are certain cases, two cases which is important in this and which we will see. One is Anwar PV versus PK Bashir. This is important, and many a time you will come to across it. Now, in this case, it was said that certificate under 1665B is a must, so it is mandatory as such. Electronic evidence, if it is produced, then certificate under section 65B is mandatory. This is what which was stated in this Anwar versus Bashir case. Now, another case is Shafi Muhammad versus State 2017 Supreme Court. Now, this is very important. Why? Because in this case, Anwar PV versus PK Bashir case, it was stated that in order to produce an electronic evidence, a certificate under section 65B is mandatory. But suppose I want to produce an electronic document. Say I have taken it from a government site, a printout from the government site, and I want to produce it before the court. Now the court will ask for a certificate under section 65B, and under section 65B I have to ensure that device was correctly in my control. There was no tampering, it was correctly functioning. But as the site is maintained by the government of India, I have got no way or no control over it. So in that case, I cannot produce a certificate under section 65B, because I cannot certify that whether the site was correctly functioning or not, or whether person who has uploaded it has done it correctly or not, or the device was not never in my control because the site was not mine. So in that case, it will be very illogical to talk of a certificate under section 65B, because as a common citizen, I have just gone to the government site, taken out a printout, and now I am submitting it in the court. So in that case, in Shafi Muhammad versus State, it was stated that the party who is not in possession of device from which electronic document is produced is not required to produce certificate under section 65B. So if the device from which the electronic document is taken is not in the possession, then in that case section certificate under section 65B is not required. So this is what which was stated in it. Now we'll just revise what all we did. We did that what are the circumstances in which secondary evidence can be given, and that we have seen by nice slip R. N stands for if it is numerous document, L stands for lost or destroyed, or if it is immovable, or if it is a public document, or if it has already been admitted, or if it is out of reach, or a certified copy. Then we saw in case of electronic document, section 65A says that it can be proved by the way which is mentioned in section 65B. Section 65B makes electronic document as deemed one, and it says that original need not be proved. And how we are to prove it? That a certificate has to be attached with it, and that certificate will state that whether the device was who was in the control of the device, whether there was any tampering or not, or whether it was correctly functioning. Then in case of Anwar versus Bashir, we saw that the certificate under section 65B is mandatory. In Shafi Muhammad versus State, but it was clarified that if the device from which the document is taken is not in the possession, then there is no requirement to produce the certificate under section 65B. That's all. Thank you.